Howdy, y'all. This is Uncle McCoy, welcoming you back to another episode of the Tour Review. I'm joined by the young whippersnapper over here.
A sleepless Pokegamer 2004 for the past 2 nights.
Alright, and here we go. Last time we covered Week 7 recap and semis predicts, and this time we're going to cover a big one. We're going to talk about the semifinals, what happened there, and we're also going to talk about the tiebreaker, because that was a thing that happened.
And if you hear plastic rustling in the background, don't mind me. I'm just still working on the thing I've been working on for the last 2 days.
Yeah, you have an art project, and we were debating about making the video today, so... And this is literally the appropriate time.
You're lucky I'm dedicated.
You're lucky. You're all lucky we are both dedicated in making this. Anyway, semis happened, and, things have happened that decided who will make it into the finals of this tour. A lot worse than expected for some, but you get the point. So let's talk about the game, shall we? And who made it into the finals of this tour. So first off, we got the Ruhenheim Runerigus beating the Anastar Articuno. So we would think that the Runerigus would win here based on the matchup, and my god, they really dominated their semis lineup against the Articunos, because every single matchup they were at least favored in some way. Then here you go. First up in TSAA, we got Long Heap beating Poshek Moshek. This one wasn't really as surprising because we all knew Long Heap was going to be the better player of the two. But to note this game in particular, Long Heap just really likes Trick Room teams. I mean, the Melmetal was damaging pretty much everything until it got burned.
I'm pretty sure that Melmetal was Choice Band Steelworker.
I also think it was Choice Band, although not really Steelworker, but...
Not Steelworker.
But I can see it being Steelworker, because Melmetal Steelworker is just broken as F.
It was almost certainly Steelworker. It was only using steel.
Well, that makes sense then. Yeah, man.
It's not very effective things where...
It did a lot.
Else would have...
Yeah, it did quite a lot, especially with
broken.
Especially with the double iron bashes going forward. Yeah,
What I just said.
Yeah, Marowak and Dawn Wings Necrozma cleaned the rest of the game, but really it didn't really matter because Poshek had the less strong matchup and really couldn't do anything against Long Heap's team.
Yeah, especially not against freaking Melmetal until it got burned. Thing was just doing a ton.
Yeah, so there was nothing really much surprise there. Stab and Mega, we got Agrametili versus Joey. This one was also not expected because we don't think Joey is the better player of the two. Although he did have some slight problems early on dealing with the Groudon and especially the Mew. He had trouble kind of pivoting against these two.
Nah, I get the feeling he kind of meant to sack things that he sacked.
I guess, but it looked like he was having trouble. But then he started to come back near towards the end, especially first off having that Shift Gear Last Resort Magearna set. That was pretty unique.
Was heat. Yeah, there was actually quite a few heat sets in this game.
And this was one of them. The Shift Gear Last Resort Magearna was really unique. It really proved great, actually, in this matchup. Especially, being the matchup that it is. Although, towards the end, Eleki missing 3 Bolt Strikes, that was kind of funny. Although... 4.
It was 4.
4 Bolt Strikes.
4 in a row.
Although he had the matchup won by that point, but yeah, just want to point it out that Eleki missed 4 Bolt Strikes. That was very funny. Brain 12.
For Joey.
Yeah. Multi-gen and Rans, we got Los Gonna Shoto versus London. This one really wasn't. There was nothing really much happening towards this game. It was mostly a back and forth game for both game 1 and game 2. Los Gonna just happened to have the better favored team. On when he picked the same 6 months that were really strong against London's, who picked decent, but not really things that were winnable against Los Gono. I mean, game 1, there was really nothing much happened, and I watched this matchup twice to note. Aside from the fact that Mudsdale tanking a Fire MZ Heatran and Lunatone killing Cart by getting off a Rock Polish, that was it. There was nothing really noteworthy otherwise. Game 2 wasn't much better. Well, there was things that happened. Durant being a heavy hitter, Gigalith managing to survive a what was it? A cross chop, I mean, against the against the Gigalith, against the Electivire, I mean, and then killing off with Earthquake. That was really neat. And then, I think London just had the matchup won here with Guts Swallow killing the endgame, but it was fine. And then game 3 had Kabuto Dynamaxing, wreaking havoc towards the early part of the game. Lugia doing
no coming back from that.
Yeah. Lugia outstalling the D-Max Blacephalon was really funny, though. He was trying to substitute and then burst off the healing damage, and then Lugia just being overall that tanky. Hippowdon and Slowbro outstalling Umbreon by simply just switching out. That makes sense. And then London almost won with Durant, but really, Los Gonna pulled it off very nicely. Next.
How did London not win with Durant again? Video.
Sorry. Oh yeah, it was the future sight. Well, it was the future sight damage, along with Hippowdon and Slowbro just barely hanging, and also the Iron Head boosts were killing it. So yeah, the Life Orb damage. I mean.
I think the Life Orb damage. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, he almost won, but yeah, that pretty much is it. Next up, Camo Doubles. We got Rolski versus Shadow Monster. This one was very indicative on how Shadow's run in TPP has been. It was very unfortunate because towards the first half of this game, Shadow really dominated. That Sun Terrain team really worked wonders. But then
it did.
Until
it didn't.
But then one small thing happened, and that cost the whole game. This time it was Rolski exploiting the fact that Shadow's team was really weak to ice by having an Ice Beam Genesect to go along.
Miko, that wasn't the issue.
What was the issue?
Sure, the Genesect itself was the issue, but it wouldn't have been there if not for a little something else. It's similar to what Z suffered.
Right. I was gonna bring that up. So, yeah. So, Ice Beam Genesect, to go along with Ice having the camo typing for Genesect, making it stab, it dodged the Heat Wave, and then proceeded to sweep the rest of the game.
Correct.
So, yeah, Rolski...
Heat Wave miss.
Rolski got really lucky getting off that Heat Wave miss, and Shadow just ended up not doing well. Rolski ended up taking advantage of it and absolutely won. So next up, we got Sanguini versus Arsenine. Not really much. I'm not going to elaborate too much on this game. Yeah, there were some pretty good sets. First of all, the Roar Vaporeon stopping the Calm Mind Entei, and then Normalium Z Entei being on our side were particular standouts, but not really much else to say. Arsenine outclassed Sanguini at every point of this game.
Yeah, I agree. That is how I described it as well.
Arsenine absolutely dominated, and there was nothing really Sanguini could do, but just couldn't play around Arsenine, unfortunately. Next up is FC versus the next two games. Dead Game, FC versus Regi, and then Trichotomy versus Acid. Both of which were highlight matches that we never got to see because meh.
They just didn't want to play.
They didn't want to play. Splorch versus Ewin and OU is next, and these two OU games were pretty easy for Ewin because, yeah, Splorch didn't play too well. Ewin just kind of dominated, had easy games to go along with it. First of all, the Gen 8 game, where yes, we got to see Ice. Yeah, we got to see Ice Punch freezing the Landorus, and then Weavile getting a free Swords Dance and sweeping. That was a thing, and then Ewin basically win the game. Gen 7, Ewin just, again, played mostly easily, outclassing Splash with, yeah, there was a moment where Explosion Genesect worked on the Toxapex, but that's really about it. Ewin particularly dominated. So that was the Runerigus' win in a nutshell. Very dominant performances from some players. Some players got
just 5 straight wins, and that was it.
Poor Loscono. He had his only win, but to end his run on an undefeated record, gotta commend Loscono on that.
Yes, but he's not the only one.
We'll talk about him later. Next up, the absolute Absols tying the Valletta Drive Bayonets in quite the intense series, mind you.
I hope the Absols acknowledge just how close they were to being out in a certain same-sex game.
We'll talk about that when we get to it. First off, TSAA, we got the rematch of all rematches, the Number Man versus Euphanos in Manager Mayhem. There were particularly hacksy games to start off this game. First of all, the early Precipice Blades miss, and then the Turtonator not one-shotting the Yveltal. That were bad omens. And then the rest of the game all seemed evenly matched later on towards the game, until the moment where Scrafty couldn't kill the max HP Gallade, just earning TNM the close win.
Yeah, we probably would have won that if not for him just happening to have a max HP Gallade.
Yeah, that living a Scrafty, I think it was Drain Punch. That lived, and that couldn't...
It lived a knockoff.
And it did live a knockoff as well, so, yeah. TNM absolutely won. It was close, but it was a hard-fought win. Next up...
Yes, but can you at least acknowledge the cool set that you've used for Scrafty?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think it was...
It was dazzling.
Yeah, it was less priority. Good job. Next up, Ice Master versus Axel. Now, this game. Ice was pretty dominant towards the beginning. We got Zygarde's natural bulk plus Coil withstanding attacks from pretty much everything. I mean, Groudon, Gyarados, Regieleki, that they couldn't do anything against Zygarde. And Axel was having a hard time. Until the moment where Slowking freeze the Zygarde and cost Ice the whole game.
Correct.
And then ultimately that Sable Knight calm mindset just swept. There was nothing really Ice could do after that freeze, and Axel took advantage of that and won.
Gotta wonder if Axel went into this game with any solid plan of how to beat a Zygarde, since Ice, I don't know, always brings it.
Wow.
And it's usually the same Coil set.
Well, if that were the case, then yeah, it would have been very samey for Ice to bring. But Axel took advantage of that, I guess. Maybe that's the reason why he brought Ice Beam in the first place. I don't know.
Yes, because that thing was tanking 1,000 arrows like like no other. Like
especially
it was super effective, and that didn't do too much.
It was 4 times a week. I know, no, super effective.
2 times.
Okay, right. But yeah, again, very bulky tiered Stab and Mega has been. So next up, Big Six multi-gen rants. We got Casual.exe versus Michael Durbest. Again, nothing really much else to say here because Michael absolutely outplayed Casual. Well, no, game one. Well, no, not to be fair though. Game one, it was very evenly paced. Casual seemed to have the game won until Lando Dynamaxed and Michael won. Game two, it was just Menegros and Genesect carrying the whole game for Michael. Not really much else to say. Michael just proved that he had the unbeaten record yet again.
That was where he got his 8-0.
Next up, Yoda versus
2-0, I should say.
Yeah. 2-0. You mentioned him being 18-0. Next.
Yes, he is technically from that point on. He was 16-0.
Right. Yoda versus Z is next in Camo Doubles. This was a very high octane game at the start. We have early Okos at the start, with Z losing the Haxorus being more damaging. Although I gotta wonder, bug water Haxorus and not water ground Haxorus? I get first impression, but like water ground Haxorus is much more efficient.
Yes, but then the team would have been even more Rillaboom weak.
I mean, you could just have sets that are not Rillaboom weak in the first place.
Then why were you just suggesting a Rillaboom weak set?
Partners, Pokeyard. Partners, allies, whatever.
It's a rain team.
I
How do you expect?
I get. Still. The game was going pretty well until, Steel Flying Demon Mew basically was back. Yeah, the reveal of the Steel Flying Demon Mew with store power, pretty much earning MVP and killing everything. So yeah.
And being unkillable in the process.
Yeah, getting the boosts and getting
I feel like there was something unfortunate that happened that prevented us from killing it earlier. I feel like there was something that prevented us from killing it. Like, I feel like it was almost there, but we couldn't.
I know. It was really,
I don't really remember the game anymore.
I don't either, but yeah, all we gotta say is Demon Mew is Demon. Next up, Tony Flygon versus Shiloh. Oh boy. This game was a thing. Didn't really have too much notes though, so because it was kind of evenly paced towards both. Tony actually using Synchronoise and it working, that was a first. Shiloh did have the match won. Okay. He misclicked Psychic against the Whimsy. Care to explain?
I didn't understand a thing you just said in the last 30 seconds.
I said Shiloh had the match won until he misclicked.
Yes, he did.
Until he misclicked Psychic on the Whimsy instead of Ice Beam. Explain.
It was choice. What do you mean? He clicked Psychic on
but would it do...
on the Rose Raid, I think. I'm not remembering this game super well, but it was just Rose Raid and Whimsicott left, right?
It was, but would Ice Beam have killed Whimsy?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did.
Okay.
Actually, I wouldn't know. Shiloh would know.
Well, he did say it was a misclick, so yeah, that might be a likely possibility. But yeah, that was really unfortunate on Shiloh's on Shiloh's end.
Yes, that might have cost us finals in the long run.
In hindsight, it will. Speaking of Will, Niantic Super's Man Obtainable Forms, Will versus Kate. This was the last game that happened, and Kate pulling off the upset. A lot of people were expecting Will to just win because of the records and how the tour has been progressed, with Will dominating and then Kate sucking for pretty much the entirety of the tour. Well, having unfortunate, but the records prove it that she's 1-4. But Kate proved without a shadow of a doubt that she can play when the crucial when hits the fan. Kate came from behind and won. Well, she did have pretty unfortunate hacks come upon her early on in the game, with Kyogre missing Thunder on the Ray, and then the freeze on the Zekrom, which was more detrimental.
Yeah. The freeze on the Zekrom was the thing that I remember most.
Yes.
Well, thing is, I'm sure Kate brought that with the fact that knowing in mind that Will really loves Cramorant.
Mm-hmm. Cause that definitely.
He brought there too.
Yeah, because definitely that was a bigger factor. Although, I will say, what may have been the crucial play for me, at least, when I saw the game, was Kyogre killing the Arceus Dark with Origin Pulse. Now, you would think that all Arceus at least, would run some sort of, defense invested, or at the very least, HP invested, in order to tank hits. But seeing the Arc Dark as much of a health that it has, and then Kyogre just absolutely blasting it with Origin Pulse, that might have been the moment where Kate really started to come back in this game. Because towards the end, Kate was doing...
Yes, it was.
Because Kate was doing amazingly at the end game. Groudon walling the sleeping Kyogre, and then, of course, Kyogre dodging a whole Toxic. But that didn't really matter, because Kate absolutely won this game.
Outplaying.
So finally, when semis hit, now's the time to bring your A game, and Kate absolutely brought her A game. So well done, Kate. Next
Yes, it's not that Kate's a bad player. Just if you watched her previous games, she got unlucky in several of them. Plus, her opponents were that of Bacon Eating Assassin, FC, Star Master. Those ain't easy.
But
Can't really fault her losing to.
She was pretty much outmatched by all of them. But now getting a win over Will, very impressive. Dugsa versus Parrish. This one was quick and easy. Dugsa's Dragapult tapping Dragon Dance. It proved too much for Parrish.
You see, we're a little stupid in prep sometimes.
You can't really predict its monotype. You can't really predict the type the opponent's gonna bring.
We seem to know right on, but then we second guess ourselves and say, you know what? This also seems good. Let's bring this.
Then stop second guessing.
It's not the best against some other type matchups, but this is great. I don't know what I'm saying anymore because I'm way too tired. The point is, we freaking expected Ghost.
Then stop predicting Ghost. Stop predicting Ghost and actually bring something of worth. Electric, really.
Well, it wasn't the worst possible matchup if Dance pulled.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Now, last up, we got Lax versus Easy in OU. This one was quick. The name of the game for Easy here was Hazard Stack, because Easy absolutely hazard stacked against Lax in both Gen 6 and Gen 8. They were kind of the same game in that way, where Stealth Rock and one layer of spikes absolutely mattered, and Easy won by that point. So nothing really Lax could do. Why didn't he bring a Rapid Spin in her, or some form of hazard removal? I don't know.
Because I don't remember what the format was for that week, but I guess hyper offense seemed to be the best type of thing for it.
I guess. But yeah, well done, easy on this one.
I don't actually know. I don't remember.
So good job, easy on winning. Now that the main preliminaries out the way, let's now talk about the thing that really mattered. It got intense at some points. Tiebreakers time. First off, Shiloh versus the Number Man in TSAA. Now, a lot of people talked about this game where Shiloh almost could have won, especially during early on when Dreadnought hit the superpower, because that was a really crucial play. That stack attack was Levitate, I believe, and
it was.
Yeah, I think Shiloh was expecting Liquidation or Earthquake or something, but when he hit the superpower and O-code it, that was the start of TNM's domination, because poisoning the Espion after the steals were already killed, that was another interesting play, because, Shiloh really couldn't do much afterwards.
Yeah, the Espion proved to be sort of a lousy breaker when I faced against Savali.
Gameplay-wise, TNM basically just outclassed Shiloh. There was nothing really much going forward. So yeah, TNM extending his streak, his points on the TSA ladder board. Multi-gen Rans, Ice versus Michael. Game 1. Game 1 was really hacksy. Really hacksy. Yeah, there was a crit gyro ball at the start for Michael against Ice, but in the end, Ice just kind of hacks Michael throughout this game. Togemaru flinching. I believe there was a speed tie as well at one point. And then freezing the Cresselia. Those were all lovely moments that happened in this game. Not lovely for Michael, but still. Game 2, mostly pretty even. And that really showed Michael he was the mandatory better Rans player. Milk Tank was basically
Ice was complaining about that game, which is funny.
Milk Tank became the MVP when Ice failed to kill it. It just was able to stay in and toxic potential threats. So yeah, well done on Michael's their part. Game 3, short but sweet. Mega Salamence just basically swept. Gamma doubles. Yoda versus Z.
No.
This game saw Yoda, like you said, with the Rolski thing, Yoda brought the same team for starters, and then Zygarde dodging the heat wave was the crucial point in this matchup. Yoda just basically soundly beating Z afterwards. So goodbye Bayonets, unfortunately. And that was the end of the Bayonets' road in TPP, and the Absols continue their place towards finals.
I don't even care about this anymore.
Oh well.
But just sour milk to end off of.
For your team at least. Well, we're gonna talk about your team and the Articuno's team next time. So just to kind of cover the top 4 teams for finals. But speaking of finals, here it is. Here's finals. And here are the rule sets for Mystery OU. Consecutive letters, usually uses moves, and alphabet moves. Although, I will say, yes, this example is intentional. Among Us.
Nicola, you didn't need to explain it.
So, our Absols versus Runerigus. Who will win TPP? Can the Absols become 3-time champions, or will the tagline of this will make sense?
I'm dissatisfied either way. Come on, at least have an underdog win.
You don't have to like it, but with the one thing we're gonna get, the top 2 teams are going to absolutely slay. Well, first off, TSAA, we got the Number Man versus Long Heap. The best 2 TSAA players in this pool. having a standoff. Who would you say wins here? I know TNM is the safe pick. But Long Heap has done very well, even more so than TNM, having a better record and all that.
I'm tempted to say Long Heap.
I'm also going to go Long Heap, because I honestly think he can beat TNM, especially on the killer road that he's been on. Next up, Stab and Mega.
Have they faced already or no?
I don't think so. Maybe it was Tranquility. I don't know. It was
Sure?
I think it was Tranquility last time, and now it's TNM this time. Stab and Mega. We got Ice Master versus Fabwulu. This one is a rematch from last time. While Ice, I think it was
probably previous years as well.
I guess. Ice, I think won last time. And I think I'm going to go with them as well, but only slightly. I'm not going to be surprised if Joey wins, because both have
I'm going with Ice as well, because Ice hardcore prepped for Joey last time.
And I think
bringing something that Joey could legit not win against.
Well, I think this will be the same story as well this time, because both players have done exceptionally well. But Ice has been more impressive than Joey, even though Joey has been impressive in his own right. Multi-gen Ran.
I think Ice has the better record.
Ice I think has the best record.
No, he doesn't.
Hello, Axel. Hello, Axel. Axel prepares to kill.
How could you, Raycoy?
Alright, multi-gen Rants. Casual.exe versus London. This one is interesting, because neither player just didn't really do too well in this tier. The records really showed. Although Casual is the more dedicated Rants player, so I think I'm gonna go with Casual.exe on this one. Not gonna be surprised if London.
Yeah, I don't really know for this. Feels kind of even.
Alright. I'm gonna go Casual on this. Seems like the safe pick. The safe pick. Camo doubles, we got Yoda versus Roldski. Now, this one is interesting. Alright. Yoda is the safe pick. We get it. Roldski.
The two who both avoided Heat Wave.
He both avoided Heat Wave. So, Roldski has done upsets in the past. Roldski has done real upsets in the past. Beating Shadow, beating Z. He's done really well in Camo doubles. I think... Okay. My betting man instincts prove that Roldski is going to win. The safe pick is Yoda.
False.
Hmm?
I think Yoda.
Okay. I'm gonna say Yoda, but I'm gonna cheer for Roldski. Come on, boy. Get the upset. National Deck, same six. We got Tony versus the Franklin. This ought to be fun. With GXE not being around, I think this is probably the closest we're gonna get to Tony versus GXE. For a bit, it's fine. Alright. Tony versus Ars9. This is the close.
The three match.
The three match?
Is it the? Well, actually, depends. Did they face last time Absols faced the Runerigus?
I don't think so. I think it was someone different. I think this is the first time they're gonna face off. So again, without GXE around, I think this is the closest we're gonna get to a highlight match in same six between three really good players. But now we got the best thing coming. We got the second best thing. Tony versus Ars9. This one's ought to be close. Okay, the betting odds say Tony, but Ars9, Ars9 has done
beaten Tony in the past.
I think I'm gonna go Ars9 on this one.
I'm going Tony.
Okay.
He doesn't lose more than once to the second person, I can tell you that.
But
well, actually, I don't know that.
Yeah, you don't know that. Yeah, you don't know that because Ars9 may actually pull off some upsets. I'm just really excited for the same six. Both will build incredibly whack sets. I can already see it.
Okay, but have Tony and Ars faced in this tour yet?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think so.
Yeah, but check. Like you're not. Oh.
He dead gamed against Poic last time, and now it's the highlight that everyone wants to see: Ars9 versus Tony. Anyway, speaking of Poic, next Uber is Will versus Poic.
Wait, I called it a free match because.
3 match.
Arsenine and Tony faced each other like twice last year.
And it was 1-1 then.
For the record, they are 1-1.
Yeah, this is gonna be the best of 3, same 6 time. Nantex Ubers, Will versus Poic. This one ought to be fun. And this one ought to be a Will win. Because, Will has been doing amazingly in Nantex Ubers, while Poic striving to impress. So, yeah. Who you gonna pick?
Well, I guess.
Okay.
But we can be outplayed.
Okay. Monotype Cap. We got Dugza versus Tear Acid. Tear Acid hasn't had the best of luck, unfortunately, in this tour. I don't think the betting odds. I don't think my betting man instincts are gonna continue further. Because I think Dugza has got this. And finally, Mystery OU, Lax versus Ewin. I think this should be fairly obvious as well. I think Ewin has done much more impressive than Lax. So this should be an E-win.
Oh, really? But Ewin is very good.
Mm-hmm. I think he's got this, especially in OU. I think Ewin is going to win because he's the better player in terms of adapting to the OU rule sets.
Oh, okay. And yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree.
So,
what does that put the score at for prediction?
I want to say 4-4. Oh man, I'm predicting a 6. I think I'm predicting a 5-3 Absols win. Will you predict a 6-2 Absols win?
Oh.
Please, let's cheer for the underdogs. Huh?
What'd you just
what
say?
You said?
I'm asking what you said.
I said cheer for the underdogs. Whoever that may be. I mean, I'm secretly rooting for one team, but you can never tell which one, huh? Okay.
You're rooting for the Runerigus.
You're rooting for the Absol posters, I can already tell. Alright. Thank you all for watching this short video. Very short. Only about.
I want the Absols to get crushed.
We'll see. We'll see if the We'll see if the Absols' reign of terror hopefully continues towards BLT. But that's a story for another video. Thank you all for watching. Please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. Click that notification bell so you won't miss a video when they come out. And I'll see you next time. Oh, before we go, one last thing we would like to note is that I've opened the voting for the Tours Plaza Premiere 4 Awards. It's a tradition now. We'll do this every year. Make sure you vote, because I've got some pretty neat choices that you may want to consider.
Yeah, so neat, some of them. Did you correct the mistakes?
I did. I did. Okay, I did.
Kate defeated Will now.
I did. We'll talk about the winners of them next video. And we'll also talk about the finals recap and who won and all that. The more important thing is the awards, okay?
Okay.
Thank you all for watching. This has been Mikoy, signing out.